Good afternoon, Montreal. How are you? Do we have Win and Will on the other end?
Good afternoon, Washington.
How y'all doing?
Hello, Washington. Good.
Excellent.
Good. So this is All Songs Considered in Win and Will Butler in Montreal. Robin Hilton is here with me in Washington, D.C.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
And for those who are out in the chat room, hello. Winston said, so can't wait for this record. That's pretty much the theme of what's going on in the chat room. People are fairly excited about the new songs. Many people have heard them by now, but many haven't. So thanks for doing this today. I think the first thing we have to do is just pick one of the two songs and let's just start playing the music. So you guys want to toss a coin who's going to introduce it and which one it's going to be?
Well, I think Will introduce it, and it's going to be
The Suburbs.
Great, which is the title of the album.
This is the it's not eponymous, but anyway, it's the title track off the album, and
which we're still finishing.
Great.
So,
we'll come back and talk about what the status of the record. Let's play The Suburbs. Title track from Suburbs. We're here with Win and Will Butler. Gentlemen, nice work.
Thank you.
It is. You always seem to like to hang your hat on a subject matter for a record. You've done it again with Suburbs. Who picks the subject matter? Does it come after writing some songs and you sort of see it coming, or does it come before the songs are written? How does that all work?
I think if you try to decide in advance what you're going to write about, you run into problems. I think that, at least lyrically, I'm the sort of person who really likes to think about the same idea from a lot of different angles and just making music in time. That is kind of what happens.
It's a subject matter that's seen a lot of investigation and art, from beatniks to lots and lots of music and film. How do you approach a subject like this and keep it fresh? A subject like The Suburbs.
Well, I mean, Will and I were born in a really small town in Northern California, kind of near the Nevada border, like in a maybe 50 people on a side of a mountain sort of little town. And we moved to the suburbs of Houston when we were young. And so it's, kind of like being as a young child, it's kind of like going to Mars or something like that. The blast of hot air when you get off the plane in Houston, and the feeling of air conditioning, and just kind of trying to talk about some of the feeling. I mean, a lot of my great heroes, from like Bob Dylan to Joe Strummer and stuff, were kind of suburban kids who had to pretend like they were train hoppers their whole lives, and so it was like trying to actually talk directly about an experience and not have to play make-believe.
Good. So we have a chat room open. People are writing and asking questions in the chat room. Somebody's headphones are up just a little bit. If you guys could just back your headphones down, then my voice won't bounce back and Robin's voice won't bounce back. It's the Rob and Bob and Win and Will show here. So
Rob and Bob and Win and Will in the morning.
It's the zoo.
Or early afternoon, actually.
What do we have, Robin?
Well, first of all, everyone loved the song. The listener comments in the chat.
Yes.
A couple of people said they feel like they're in a saloon, and one person said ragtime, I guess because of the piano.
Who's doing that piano?
I'm playing the piano. That's Win.
Yes.
Of Win and Will and Bob and Rob.
Win's the less
I think
head-congested one there.
Exactly. I think the other song, Month of May, you're going to hear, but I think these two songs are maybe two of the four poles of the album. You maybe have a little lighter, folkier thing. You have a rock and roll thing, and then you have some more electronic stuff, and then, I don't know. I sort of see these as functioning as a bit of an album preview. Like, the album lies between these extremes.
So a number of listeners have said that it sounded a whole lot more upbeat and a little less layered, or less darker, not as dark as earlier stuff. And a lot of people are asking if the whole mood of the new album is significantly different from the previous ones.
I hope so. It's been a couple years. I mean, a lot has happened in the last couple of years. Yeah.
In particular, when you say that?
I don't know. I mean, we started recording pretty much a year ago in May of 2009, and before recording, we took a year off, and we basically were on the road from the time Funeral came out until the end of touring Neon Bible, and so I think there was we all did a lot of living in the last couple of years, and so I think there's a lot of that in this record.
And I think somebody was wondering if touring material that had so much weight to it, such as Neon Bible and Funeral, if that was an impetus to head in a different direction. Is there a different direction? Certainly although some of the lyrics are intense in that song, did it help you lighten up some?
I've always found we just approach things pretty song by song, both in terms of the production, in terms of making the album, and I don't really think about it globally until long after the fact. And so when it as a collection, maybe it's a little lighter. It's sort of surprising to me because I'm just sort of focused on the individual elements as it's going along personally.
You did the record in a church for Neon Bible one you sort of worked on and lived in, so to speak. Where did you do this? At the same place?
We actually did a lot of recording for this in me and Regine's living room, but we worked at the church a bit. We were in New York City for
3 weeks.
For 3 weeks or something, kind of as an experiment of working in a real studio to see what that felt like. It was pretty diverse. We were kind of working a lot of different places.
Robin, you got some?
Pedro in Brazil writes that he'd heard rumors that there were 38 songs recorded. Is that true? How many will end up on the new album? And if you can tell us anything else about the other songs that will end up on the album. It seems like a very specific number. 38 songs.
38. Yeah, there's something so
sounds
round
like
about it.
Looks like a number that would be on the cover of Cosmo or something. 38 new songs that will make them love you.
Or one of the lost numbers.
Have you just been having a real explosion of creative activity with this record, or?
Well, like I said, we actually took some time off. So after touring, and so I promise that there aren't 38 songs. Let's put it that way. But yeah, I think that it's been a lot of healthy amount of songwriting, and I think that we're all in a good place creatively in that regard.
You know, in the rumor mill, there was when the songs started getting everywhere late yesterday. One of the things I read was a fellow who somewhere in I can't remember if it was Scandinavia or somewhere, found a record of yours in a bin with those two songs on it. It's really pretty incredible to follow some of the things that happen. But you are sending 12-inch singles of the two-sided single out to independent record shops, right? You want to explain some of that? And did this guy possibly find one of your records in some shop someplace already?
Well, that was sort of the dream. We made this 12-inch record, and it was sort of the dream that someone would walk into a shop, and that would be the first person who heard the song would be off a record. It just, it's sort of nice to not find out everything. Is that your online.
Nostalgia? Is that your nostalgia coming through?
No, we just we finished those two tracks, and we just wanted to try just put it out there in like a tangible, real form, and try and, almost just as a way of trying to relate to the music, and in this kind of era, it's almost just like making something tangible and putting it into the world. And
for me, it's not particularly nostalgic because I was born way after records died.
Yeah,
it's a hope.
Yeah, a lot more cassette listening in our household than
But
vinyl.
it just seemed nice that people would experience the music for the first time in a slightly more tangible way, either through the radio, someone playing a vinyl on the radio, or someone playing it actually off the record player seemed like a pleasant idea.
Yeah, we tried to do a bit of that this morning with Morning Edition premiered a bunch of which let's just do it. We'll play the other song on that we've heard so far, which is the month of May song. Morning Edition premiered that this morning. So let's listen to it. Who wants to introduce this? Where'd this one come from?
Your turn, Win.
Yeah, so this song came about a year ago, and I always wanted to write something. Living in Montreal, the winters are so insane that in May, when it finally starts to break, there's just this really crazy feeling in the air as people kind of reemerge from their houses, and there's this almost kind of violent energy about it. And the weather gets really weird, and there's windstorms, and like yesterday it was
like 95
It was like 95 degrees, and there was a hailstorm. And like these clouds just came in, and hail came down, and the wind knocked out all the power lines, and there were power outages when we were trying to rehearse. And so it's just trying to get some of that feeling onto a record.
Good. Let's hit it. This is the month of May. Slow radio fade. It's not coming back, is it?
Wait for it.
That they call that a Motown fade.
When it fades out and fades back in.
Yeah. No. When it fades out, that nice and slow fade out. So the DJ in 60s radio can come talk on top of it.
Here it comes.
We're coming back.
Oh, there it is.
That was it.
Sorry.
Bob and Rob and Win and Will. That was the Arcade Fire.
Going all the way back to today.
When I think of the
Going
scope
all the way back to 2009, 2010. You remember how you felt back then?
When I think about the scope of your music and falling in love with it in 2004 and hearing this, I feel like you're sort of gravitating more to rock and roll fare, and some of the earlier stuff was, what kind of sound is this? Do you feel that about your music, or can you describe how you feel the direction of your music is heading? I mean, obviously I'm only hearing 2 songs on this record so far, so it's a little hard to tell.
Yeah, I think it's hard to tell from 2 songs on any record, really. But Will wants to say the following.
Month of May isn't half as dumb or half as short or half as light as 90% of the songs on the White Album. We're nowhere near as diverse as the Beatles yet, but I wouldn't mind throwing on a couple of honey pies in the future.
Honey pie.
So for me, it's I just like to. Sometimes it's nice to just do what feels fun and not worry too much about what's gonna come out.
I think part of the goal with this band has always been to really be able to do what we want musically. And I think that we have, we're not too much in a corner. I think that spoiler alert, all of our albums will sound slightly different from the ones before, but I think it feels good to feel like we can do what we want to musically.
Robbie, you have some fun
everyone out too much.
A number of listeners are asking about Regine and wondering if we're going to hear her voice more on the new record.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
Did you?
There's a couple. One of my favorites on the new record is one of the best Regine tracks ever. There are a couple of them. They're really amazing.
Title?
No comment.
Oh, I tried.
A lot of people are kind of geeking out about the specifics of how and where the album was recorded and production. Did you work with Owen Pallett at all on strings on the record? And can you tell listeners whether or not they can hear more strings, violins, and cellos on the new record?
Yeah, there's some great string stuff. Owen was and Sarah and Marika
and Richie
and Richard are kind of our go-to string quartet, and they were in New York we did a lot of string stuff, and there's some beautiful Owen arrangements. Actually, on the Suburbs, there's quite a bit of strings on that.
Now you're touring like England and Ireland, yeah? And then every time we do these chats, everyone wants to know, you're coming to Brazil, you're coming to Peru, you're coming to Mexico, you're coming to California.
I would love to go to Peru.
Okay. Well, hear that, everybody in Peru? They're on their way. So where are you going to go and start to tour this record? Just, overview. We're not going for individual cities here.
Europe,
yeah.
North America. We are sort of
North America in the fall, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, our label doesn't tell us what to do, so we're always behind the game on where we're touring. Like, I think most bands on a major label could tell you what they're doing until 2012 at this point, but we're just like, oh, do we have to tell you what we're doing in December already? So
yeah, most like opening acts we end up asking, like Owen, for example, we wanted to have him open some shows, and he was already booked. Like, people book themselves a lot more in advance than we do. But
we're finally gonna make it to Finland. Like, people from Finland have been emailing us since before Funeral came out, and that was a goal. So we're playing Helsinki on this tour. But I mean, we would love to go pretty much everywhere, but it always ends up being a time crunch.
Yeah, I mean, we've only ever, in Latin America, South America, we've only ever been to Brazil. Which was awesome, and yeah, we definitely love to go back and to go other places in South America. It would be really fun.
Do people in Brazil stand and watch you guys with their arm folded tight? Is that a universal
believe
symbol?
it or not, they've got a pretty good... I have to say that people in Brazil are the best at clapping along to music of any group of people in the world, by far.
And any other...
Japan are pretty good too, but...
Oh, good. Yeah, no, go around the world a little bit. Different audience reactions to when you're performing that come right to mind.
Well...
The one thing that comes to mind is when you tour Europe, you really actually start to be able to differentiate the ethnicities of white people. Like, oh, this is what Norwegian people look like. This is what Danish people look like. This is what Swedish people look like. Like, when there's a 6,000 of them in front of you, you're like, oh, there are ethnic similarities between these people. Not to be too racist or anything.
I got you. So a quick snap poll, by the way, if you guys might be interested in this. This is your first reaction to the record. We asked which was your favorite song of the two. Which do you guys think would win out on favorite song of the two songs if you were polling an audience?
Oh, I don't know. They're all just so much worse than anything that was on Funeral. It's hard for me to get past that.
Yeah,
it's like 40% of, compared to Tunnels. It's like B-, maybe more like a C+.
Do you really feel that way? I mean, I can't tell what.
Like, who do you like better, Franco or Mussolini?
I mean,
well, some listeners did write in saying asking whether or not you felt pressure to do as well or better than the first album.
And I honestly want to know if you were actually just playing around when you said that, or if you lived with those songs for a long time. Yeah, it's hard to know.
Yeah. Believe it or not, and this is God's honest truth, like, our manager was talking to us the other day, like, what do you think about a song for the radio? And we're like, the radio? Oh my God, I forgot what song would be appropriate to play on the radio. So it honestly, the kind of pressure thing, it's so hard just to make a record and to, like, really do the right thing for the song and to, like, really try and focus on the song and take a back seat to the song that it really takes so much work and effort that anything beyond that, I think, is beyond us.
Well, our unscientific poll, come on, which one got the more votes? Win?
Wake Up.
No. These two songs. Come on. All right. Will?
Creep. Smells Like Teen Spirit.
So the
Losing My Religion.
I'm going to just
nice
sit
swimming.
here until you answer.
Who Let the Dogs Out?
Yeah. Okay. So the Suburbs, 57%, and the other one got the lesser amount. Which
I wish we were on TV so you could show us the result on the big
Ding,
giant
ding,
touch
ding.
screen.
Yeah, Robin,
Novelty
sound effect.
check.
So,
Boing.
So funeral over Neon Bible was the one poll, and then the Suburbs got 57 to 43 month of May. So there you go.
And what percentage of people think that Halliburton is to blame for this bill, and who thinks that BP bears the brunt, or is it President Obama?
Quick poll. So
I have a couple quick questions for you from listeners. If you could tell us a little bit about the artwork of the new album, who did it, and how that sort of came together for you.
And what else would we see? We see right now, you can go and see the image of the car in front of what looks like a backdrop. I mean, the whole thing looks like a backdrop photograph that, well, tell us.
Yeah, looks
Describe
like.
it. Describe.
Describe those. Yeah, there's pictures from Houston. We sent our friend Vincent, who does all of our web stuff, almost like an astronaut, a Quebecois astronaut, down to Houston to take a bunch of pictures. And
he took a friend with him, so it was two scarf-wearing French accent dudes walking around the suburbs of Houston taking photos, and people were
like, "What are you gentlemen doing?"
And came away with.
You want me to describe the picture?
It
that's
really
on the
helps
website?
on
the website. Okay, right. We're on the radio. I forgot. Yeah, just a picture of a car in front of a house.
Better description.
Greenish hue to the car, and
very stylized. It's
we're Will and Win and Bob and Rob. Boing, oing, oing, oing. Where's my sound effects guy?
All right. One last question for you then from listeners, unless you had anything else you wanted to say about the cover.
Vincent and his common-law spouse, Caroline, have been working hard at it. We're pleased with it.
Kelly writes in that you work with important organizations like Oxfam and Partners in Health, and wants to know if you think that music can be an agent of social change.
Yeah, I mean, Regine and I last fall went to Haiti for the first time, and it was pretty interesting because it was before the earthquake and everything, and we've been working with Partners in Health, which is a Boston-based healthcare, among many other things, organization that's been working in Haiti for 20 years, and we went to a lot of hospitals, and you really feel like a hack when you're hanging out with doctors, because you really realize that the ability you have to literally help people is kind of limited. But we had instruments, and we would just play a couple cover songs and play some songs, and it was pretty amazing just kind of for the morale of the doctors who are working there all the time, and even just a lot of the staff and stuff. It was really super positive, and they were all writing us afterwards and really thanking us for coming, and it was just it really felt like the music. Just, I think that if you're constantly working in Haiti, and it's like hard, and you're set back so often, that just like really realizing that music could actually kind of help with the spirits and actually have an actual impact in people's lives who are trying to do the real work was a pretty neat realization.
And do you have plans for more any sorts of benefits or things like that in the works?
Yeah, I mean, we've Regine has been working to get an organization going in Quebec called Campe, which is Creole for to stand, and trying to work with Partners in Health and a lot of people who are doing really good work in Haiti, and trying to really support the people who are doing the best work. So yeah, that's definitely constantly on my mind.
And you have some information on your website about Haiti, correct? Is that right?
Yeah, on the website. And PIH.org, Partners in Health, is just, I can't say enough about what an incredible organization they are, particularly for stuff in Haiti, but they have clinics all over Africa and South America too.
Thanks for doing all this, and thanks for letting us play the songs today.
Thanks for having
as
us.
one fan, so when are you coming to Washington? I hope to see you soon. And
yes,
I can't wait to hear these
will.
songs live and more of them.
You will see us in Washington.
The record, The Suburbs, comes out August 2nd and 3rd, or 1st and 2nd, something like that. Whatever the Monday and Tuesday
second,
is.
third,
Second,
yeah.
third.
Yeah.
Excellent. Well, good luck with it.
Cool.
Thanks
you.
a lot.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Our pleasure. Bye-bye.